I'm Rick, one of the Red Seal techs here at Voyager RV. We are in our PDI shop. This is an active shop. You may hear some noise in the background. We are here today to discuss lithium-ion batteries, the good, the bad, and the ugly about them. Just the facts. We're going to try and get through it in 10 minutes or less, so let's get started. So, here's 8 great points to talk about the good of lithium-ion. Number 1, lighter weight. Lithium-ion batteries are about half to a third the weight of a comparable lead-acid battery, depending on which battery you're using. So that means that you have more carrying capacity for food, but especially for beer. Number 2 is efficiency. We're talking about charge over time when we're talking about efficiency. So with a regular lead-acid battery, you're going to have a full charge for a bit, and then it's going to die off. Whereas with an ion battery, it's 100% full charge over a greater stretch of time, and then it dies off right at the very end. So you get full charge right to the very end. So there's no dimming of lights, there's no appliances running incorrectly. You're just going to get the benefit of a full charge and over a longer period of time. Number 3, longer battery life. So that we were mentioning how long each individual cycle lasts. You get more cycles out of a lithium-ion battery than a regular battery. Like regular batteries, we're talking 300 cycles per year on average. That gives you, their life expectancy is about 1,000 cycles, so about a 3-year lifespan. Whereas lithium-ion batteries, you get 3,000 to 5,000 cycles. So we're talking 5 to 10 times the life of a regular battery, which means you're not constantly running out to replace your batteries every 3 years. You buy once, and that's it. Okay, so one cycle is from the time that it's charged to its discharge till it's charged up again. That is one cycle. Number 4, depth of discharge. So what we're talking about here is a regular lead-acid battery. After it's been discharged to 50%, you're taking a chance on the plates sulfating, and that can lead to a poor battery performance and will shorten the life of the battery. So you have to be careful about how long you're discharging your batteries. No worry about that with a lithium-ion battery. There is no depth of discharge. You discharge them right to 0 and then you recharge them. Number 5, they are very fast charging batteries. So the reason for that is because the batteries charge at a higher rate, and there is no phasing of the power. A regular lead-acid battery will get a full charge for a little bit, and then it changes over time as the charge continues. A lithium-ion battery, a full 14.8 volts, and right from start to finish until 99% of fully charged, and that's when it drops off. So it charges in a few hours rather than in a few days. Number 6, holds charge and storage. So there's no need for a trickle charger in the wintertime to keep your battery from reaching a depth of discharge, or 50% depth of discharge. Number 7, 0 maintenance. Because you don't have to worry about the batteries discharging, you don't have to worry about checking the water, you don't have to worry about venting in battery compartments. You can stack these batteries. There's no worry about spill or anything. So you can pack the batteries in a tighter space. They're just a lot more flexible in what you can do with them. And there's nothing to check. The last point is the safety and use. There was a point where lithium batteries had a bad reputation because they'd start fires in cargo holds of airplanes. However, the current technology with the lithium iron phosphate battery is very safe to use. So there's no worries about thermal events. Okay, let's talk about the bad things about lithium-ion batteries. There's 3 main points. Number 1, required upgrades. Because lithium-ion batteries charge at a rate of 14.6 volts to get a full charge, most converters will, in trailers right now, will only charge at 13.8 volts. So you may have to upgrade your converter to a higher charge rate to allow you to charge the batteries properly. You may already have the technology in your trailer, and you just have to switch the battery type, but it's unlikely at this point. So the other thing that you're going to have to worry about is getting a battery monitoring system. Battery monitoring systems will make sure that each cell of your battery is charged correctly, and it monitors the temperature level of the batteries to make sure that they're within safe operating conditions. Which leads us to point number 2, temperature sensitivity. The temperature range, operating temperature range of lithium-ion batteries is from 0 to 70 degrees Celsius. We'll never see 70 degrees Celsius, not in our lifetime. The hottest recorded temperature on the face of the planet is about 50. So we will see 0 degrees because that's the freezing point of water. That's why you have to put a battery monitoring system in, because it will not allow the batteries to be charged below 0 and damage your batteries. So the batteries are going to have to be placed in either a warmed compartment or someplace close to warmth, and if they're not, they're going to have to be wrapped. So that's something to take into consideration when you're placing your battery. Number 3, recharging with solar. So most solar controllers that are on the market today can allow for easy change between battery types, and they do include or at least some of them do include lithium-ion batteries. So you may not have to change your charge controller, but it's possible that you will if you're running solar. And it's again about the charging voltage of the higher charging voltage of the lithium-ion battery. Another thing to take into consideration is you're not going to be recharging your battery to the full amount when you're driving down the road, because your alternator will not likely produce 14.6 volts at the battery by the time it runs through all of the components and everything to get to your battery. It's more likely to be around 13 volts than 14.6. So you're not going to be recharging your battery to the fullest extent while you're driving. Okay, we've talked about the good, we've talked about the bad. Let's talk about the ugly. There's 2 main points here. First of all, current cost of lithium batteries is expensive. So you have to think about it as a big upfront cost, but because you get 5 to 10 times the life, you actually get a better cost advantage over time, because you're going to be replacing regular batteries at a much higher frequency than having to replace your ion battery. However, having said that, the cost for the comparable cost for a 100 amp hour lithium-ion battery at the present time is around $2,100 Canadian. So it's a big upfront cost, but again, over time, because you get 5 to 10 times the life, you're not going to be replacing those batteries and building the cost. The second major cost that you have to worry about, and this is all about cost, is the cost of the upgrades. So I talked before in the bad about the required upgrades to your converter. We're talking about a $500 Canadian cost to upgrade your converter. We also have to put in a battery monitoring system, which is around $300. And then there's the labor that's involved to install those things. So a couple hours to change over a converter, an hour or so to add a battery monitoring system. So at current shop rates, that's around $400 in labor costs. We're talking $300 for the battery monitoring system and another $500 for a converter upgrade. We're talking $1,200 Canadian for the required upgrades to make sure that your battery gets what it needs to charge properly. Okay, so we've talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly of lithium-ion batteries. Who really needs these things? It's a big cost up front, but don't forget that it's cost over time. The savings are substantial. especially in your time and effort to replace the batteries. So who needs these? Full-time RVers, boondockers, people who are going to be living off the grid and want a better camping experience with full lights and full use of your appliances while you're enjoying a longer battery cycle. So instead of being out for a few days and worrying about your rig running out of power, now you can be out a week or more, especially if you have the solar panel. So let's just wrap this up by saying the people who really want these things are the people who want to get the full enjoyment out of their unit for a longer period of time. Okay, so that's a wrap on our review of lithium-ion batteries. If you have any questions about the video, please leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Our next video is going to be a review of all types of RV batteries, so you can make a decision on which battery type is best suited for you. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to the channel. It's your support that inspires us to make videos just like this. That's it for today. So until next time, remember, good maintenance leads to happy camping.